Now, you see, you have here straight away something which is important about the souls of Satyavan and Savitri. The Supreme Himself is telling to Savitri, O Satyavan, O luminous Savitri, I sent you forth of old beneath the stars as equal power, etc., etc., lifting earth beings to immortality. So, we have here a very clear statement about the avataric nature of both Satyavan and Savitri. I sent you forth. That is one aspect of it. The other aspect is, which is more important, that Satyavan and Savitri are the direct emanations of the Supreme.
Right, sir.
Not through other regions, other places. They are the direct emanations from the Supreme Himself.
Away from the God.
Away from the God, as we have got in the earlier cases. Yes, now, and therefore, when you now think of the direct emanations of the Supreme, it is not the nature of this particular avatar or this period, this avatar or this avatar or this avatar. It is something which is there in the very process of earthly evolution.
Right.
Earthly evolution.
Because send you forth of old beneath the stars. This implies that it's the very makeup of the things that they are part of.
And the last line, lifting earth beings to immortality. Why I sent you forth? Why I sent you forth? To lift the earth beings to immortality. In other words, the first thing is they are direct emanations of the Supreme. The second thing is the task they are coming here is to lift the earth being to immortality.
So you would also say that then their support to earth beings would be necessary to lift them to immortality?
It is they alone who can do that,
for us.
Yeah.
Right, sir.
They alone who can
do
that.
Who can do
Who can do that. Well, I mean, otherwise what happens?
I mean, because they've been charged with that kind of a role, how does it happen otherwise? Otherwise, it has to come down. Because either it's lifting earth beings to immortality.
Yeah.
So there are two ways only of doing this thing, sir. Either from bottom, things lift themselves up, or from the top, something comes down.
Yeah.
Right, sir. But for the earth beings, because they are born from matter, their only possibility is to be lifted up.
Yes, yes.
We have no possibility of having something descend and transform in that sense, sir, that directly of that kind. So we have to be lifted up.
Yes, yes.
And without Savitri and Satyavan's...
this will not happen.
This will not happen.
Yeah.
So their role in our lives is crucial.
Yeah. See, basically the distinction here is, firstly, lifting up from earth nature to immortality. In the case of an individual, possibly one can do by one's own tapasya.
Right, sir.
You see, in the case of an individual. For instance, the rishis have done that. They have attained immortality. Amrutasya putra, they have become the sons of immortality.
But immortality of the spirit?
No. Well, I mean...
Not of the body.
But here also it doesn't say of body necessarily at this point.
Yes, sir.
At this point it doesn't say
that part is not clarified.
Yeah. Right, sir. It doesn't say at this point. Right, but so at this stage, I mean, you can only say that this lifting up to immortality is possible even without the presence of Satyavan and Savitri in the case of an individual soul. But here the thing is earth beings. It is not the individual, but it is the earth collectivity which has to be lifted up.
Right. It's not earth being, it's earth beings.
Beings, no, not an individual, but the beings, the mortal beings.
Right.
In that sense. So that way, for that purpose, Satyavan and Savitri had to come down. This is really easy. Now, of course, I don't know, I don't understand why he is saying something very, why he is making a distinction here. Oh Satyavan, oh luminous Savitri. Satyavan goes without qualification. Savitri is luminous Savitri. See?
Why is it not the other way around?
Yeah, well, why it's not the other way around? Why there is no qualification, or the poetic line does not allow any more adjective here? You see,
It could have been in two lines then.
but he should have
So
been.
it is intentional in that sense.
But of course, that is now. In other words, perhaps there is a separate role to play
Exactly, sir.
between Satyavan.
They have a separate role also, and
Ah.
at the same time, because we have another line saying that they've been born of the same fire,
Yes. Yeah.
which means they have to pursue end, which is so the will,
Yeah.
which is in them,
Yeah.
is achieving the same purpose.
Yeah.
So they are from the same
No,
fire.
born on the same fire.
Yes, sir.
Is that the exact phrase?
I'll just bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah. The twin souls born from one undying fire. For we are man and woman from
The first. Here also it says
That's
from the
right.
first.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The twin souls born from one undying fire. Did he not drawn on me? Okay, that's all right.
Yes, sir.
Now, what do you understand from this undying fire? One undying fire.
So one undying fire, sir, let's say it's the will within the matter for creating the divine life. What would
No.
you, I mean, how would
No.
that be?
The transcendental source is one.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Now, actually, that is why I wanted to confirm that thing.
Yes, sir.
From one undying fire, this one undying fire is here in what we are doing now.
Right, sir.
Supreme, I sent you forth.
Right, sir.
He is the fire, one undying fire.
Undying. His will is the fire, sir.
Well, he has sent you forth. He says, I sent you forth.
Right, sir.
That is a part of his will, of whatever you want to call it. So that I sent you for, I sent you is standing here for one undying fire.
Right, sir.
In other words, one undying fire also means basically they are the direct emanations of the Supreme.
Right, sir.
That is why I wanted to confirm whether it is the same. Yeah.
Right, sir.
What is true? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then, of course, he described what is Satyavan and what is Savitri and that kind of a thing. He is the Godhead growing, taking the whole thing.
So they've,
Oh,
been given,
Savitri. Huh?
they've been given different roles
That's right. Yeah.
for the same play.
Yes.
Basically.
And Savitri, thou art my spirit's power, the revealing voice of my immortal word, the face of truth upon the roads of time, pointing to the souls of men, the roots to God. Now, I think this description between the two, what we are here about Satyavan and what is following here about Savitri,
Yes, sir.
that also gives some sense to us why he is talking about Savitri as O luminous Savitri and not Satyavan.
Okay, sir.
The role which they are going to play here. He is my soul climbs from nascent night.
Right.
Nascent night.
He can't necessarily be
In that
luminous.
sense, you see. No, so that is because the dynamism of Savitri, luminosity of Savitri, it is that which has to spread around. So I think that way, I mean, why Satyavan is not given any qualification is perhaps described in great details here.
Right, sir.
But when the hour of the divine draws near, 22,
Yes, sir.
when the hour of the divine draws near, the mighty mother shall take birth in time, and God be born into the human clay in forms made ready by your human lives. Now, this is something I will say very significant. Very significant. Now, who is this mighty mother? Mighty mother, actually, in the earlier descriptions, is none but Truth Supreme. She is the one who is doing things here.
Divine Mother is the mighty mother, sir.
Yeah, I mean, in the earlier description, we have Truth Supreme as the mighty mother. In fact, Savitri, when she is describing all the hierarchies of the world to death, starting from vital, mental, and all the spiritual planes, and then the truth supreme and the revelatory planes and all that thing. So it is that truth supreme who is actually, in that sense, the mighty mother. It is because of her that the whole hierarchy of creation is present here. Now, I would try to equate that thing also, the mighty mother, in that sense. Now, but the point is not that. The point here is when the hour of the divine draws near, the mighty mother shall take birth in time, and God be born into the human clay in forms made ready by your human lives. This is a very deep statement, and I don't know whether we can really talk about it also. See, the process which is indicated here is she will take birth in time. That is made clear here, you see. And God be born. When she takes birth in time, then shall God be born in gross matter.
Right, so this also relates to what has been said earlier, that the child will grow.
Yeah, but okay, yes.
The God child will grow into.
Yeah, but here now it is more specific. Right, sir. He says that the mighty mother will first be born in time, and God then be born in human clay. How? Only when Savitri, through her human birth, would make forms ready. In other words, we can say that possibly
the subtle physical will be prepared by them. The subtle physical will be prepared by them.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I was trying to relate with the mother's work of cellular transformation. She is dealing with human clay in this particular language. And when that clay is ready, forms made ready, she will have to keep on evolving forms through her human birth, through her human lives. In other words, this will indicate that in order to carry out this work of the physical birth of God Himself here, she will have to go through human births, human lives. Well, it's not necessarily human births, human lives, particularly, you see. Or, if you want to now pinpoint it further, we could say that, when Shivendu withdrew in December 1950, immediately after that, maybe I think it was 7th December 1950, the mother prayed to him for resurrection, to come back into the body. And at that time he had told to the mother, I will come back in a supramental body made in a supramental way. Come back in a supramental body made in a supramental way. Now, it is that I will come back in a body made in a supramental way. It is that which is what, and God be born. That statement I will link up with God be born, with that particular specific thing, you see. Now, if therefore Shivandu has to come back here in a supramental body made in a supramental, who is going to do that? It is the task of the mother. She has to prepare through her human lives forms ready to house that supramental body. Now, the question which might arise is, I mean, we can't really opine, we can't really say anything at all. It will be foolish on our part. The mother was doing the work of cellular transformation. It has progressed up to a certain point, and then at that stage, she left it. Well, she always left it to the will of the Lord. What thou willest, what you will, she was saying, it has to happen. She is now completely leaving it to the will of the Lord. Even the cells are saying, what you will, you see. Now, does it mean that in her case, she may not necessarily come back here in human lives? I mean, what is the next step going to happen? I was trying to see if some kind of a clue can be obtained from this particular statement, this sentence. You see, it is a very unique statement, and he wrote that thing, of course, before 1950. So he already had that knowledge of things, and therefore he could say that. So one might say that, see, basically, will the mother come here in a manner she had been coming here earlier, in the same manner? Shri Aurobindo has already said, now I will come back only in a supramental body, but in a supramental way. Now, what is the fate of the mother? It is that which is what we are trying to look into from this particular sentence. You have any idea about that?
I would really not be able to say anything about that.
Can you, I mean, guess, can you imagine, can you hazard some opinion?
Maybe some foolish opinion or some foolish guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if we see mother's agenda,
Yeah.
the point at which mother had reached in her this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue is how much of a gap was from that point to the point where this thing will become functional in the matter.
Yeah.
The advance which has already been achieved in the subtle physical.
Yeah.
So now, one thing I'm not sure of, sir, whether that work she has to do all over again, the working on the cell which she had achieved, there was a certain level.
No, that point is very clear. That work, she need not do that thing.
Right. So she will immediately get that.
From that becomes a starting point for the next step. You see.
Right, sir.
Yeah.
So since the cells are already aware of divine, let's say, I mean,
not all.
Not all, obviously, sir. Since that capacity in cells has
opened out.
Has opened out, sir.
Yeah.
Earlier they were not open to that only, sir.
Yeah.
So now since they have opened out, and they are aspiring for the divine, and possibly it's just a matter of time. So given that the time frame also which has been indicated by Shri Aurobindo and even by mother between 300 and 500 years.
Yeah. No, it's not a question of number of years also. I will not say. Here, by your human lives, in forms made ready by your human lives, it's not going to be one life.
No, so this also can imply that by your, because it's being addressed to two persons, Satyavan and Savitri.
Okay.
It could also imply by your human lives, which means the two of your lives. So it necessarily need not be that it means that they have to take many lives for accomplishing that.
That lives could mean the life of Satyavan and the life of Savitri in one go.
Yes, sir.
No, but then that is not applicable here. Very clearly, if you are now relating this thing with Shri Aurobindo's statement.
Right, sir.
He has made it very clear. The question of his many coming again in life is not there at all. I will come specifically now in a supramental body made in a supramental way. Finished.
Right, sir.
So the question of Satyavan's life, human life, does not arise.
But that also we can't say whether the work actually has been finished to the point that it's just a matter of the right opportunity for that thing to happen.
No. If he has made a statement, it means that things are going to be that way. I will come in a supramental body, made in a supramental way. It means that it will happen in that way. That's all. And whatever background is required, whatever preparation is required, That she will do through her human life. Call it life productivity. Okay, even if you consider this life stands for Satyavan and Savitri, then what is Savitri's work? She has already done, it means. And made ready, see, when that is the whole point is that then shall the true supreme be given to men.
After the work has been completed.
Yes. Yeah. Then shall the truth be given to men, you see. Yeah.
So which means then something will open out.
Yeah.
For the men to actually appreciate the supreme truth.
See, this is still I'm not getting any intuition of that. Basically, yeah.
Okay, so this is an open.
No, I mean, yeah, we are not really. See, I am trying to relate this particular statement here in forms made ready. See, he says forms.
Right, sir.
See.
But forms also is for the two persons, sir.
No. See, if you are now relating this thing with what Shebendhu has said, God, we are relating to Shebendhu.
Right, sir.
And God be born into the human clay. I will take a supramental body in a supramental, made in a supramental way.
And the mighty mother means the entire might of the mother.
No, I would call the divine Shakti or as I said earlier, it is the supreme truth supreme. She is mighty mother. It is she who has been, in fact, that is the whole long discussion, no, earlier also. 146:37.
Yes, sir.
And from that onward, you see, a truth supreme has forced the world to be. It has wrapped itself in matter as in a shroud of death, a shroud of ignorance. That is 37. And then further on, it goes like that. See, what is the 146, 50, 65. This is all the work of Supreme, Truth Supreme. Then he says, the Truth Supreme, vast and impersonal, fits faultlessly the hour and circumstance. Its substance, a pure gold, ever the same, but shaped into vessels for the spirits use. Shaped into vessels for the spirits use. Its gold becomes the wine jar and the vase. Yes. And then it says, all that is a supreme epiphany. After that is there, the supreme manifestation is there. The all wonderful makes a marvel, the all beautiful a miracle, the all blissful heart throb, a pure celestial joy in the use of sense. Each being there is a member, etc., etc. So this Truth Supreme, that is why I am equating this Truth Supreme to the Mighty Mother. It is her work, you see, in that sense. What we are here in 155.22, you see.
Right, sir.
Now, she shall take birth in time, in forms made ready by your, I think this your means definitely he is addressing to Savitri.